Hello and welcome to the sixth video in this R Simplified series. So far, we have covered a lot of fundamental concepts in R, and today we are going to be looking at loops. And if time permits, we'll look at functions as well so that we can move to data structures and start doing data science or analytics stuffs in R. So let's get straight to it. What are loops? Look at this scenario. You have a container that contains a couple of items, and you want to go into the container and pick the items one after the other. So basically, loops work in that pattern more like iteration, and it is used mostly for sequence data type. That's things like lists, like arrays, things like dictionaries in another programming language or factors. You are just going through a huge set and bringing it out one after the other. That is what looping means in just a simple term. We have two kind of loops that we use mostly. We have the for loop and the while loop. So the while loop is a loop that continues working as long as a particular criteria or condition remains true, while the for loop will just go into the sequence, bring it out no matter what, and when it gets to the last place it stops. Just look at it as a perfect example is your login into your phone or into your bank account, or you are trying your ATM pin and it's telling you that this is the first trial, second trial, third trial, and it logs you out. So let's just get into it and see how both of them comes into action. Like I'd say, the while loop, we keep track of what you are doing and kind of respond based on condition. So, like we said, execute a block of code as long as specified condition is true. Definitely, it is efficient in your data interaction, and you just want to get data from a range of collection. So, let's go on to check while loop. As long as something is true, the while loop keep working. And one interesting thing about loops is you must increment. If you write a while loop without incrementing, you have this issue of a loop that does not end. It keeps on running uh, as long as the system remains on, because the condition will not be met. So let's just go ahead and talk about while loop. How do you write a basic while loop in R? It's always while, and you have WHILE, while your condition. Why it's true. What do you want to do? You want to do something. So this is like the basic syntax of a while loop. So let's just set a condition. Let's say our condition says counter. We want to just use a while loop to loop, just count. Let's start with counter, a very simple one. Counter is one. And then we want to use this to count between 1 and 10 using a while loop. So it's basically while counter is less than or equal to 10. What do we want to do? While counter is less than or equal to 10, we want to do something. So let's just say we want to print out counter. So at this point, if I run this, it will work, but it will get stuck in the loop, because then there is no incrementing. It will keep doing one thing over and over and again. So I could just do um counter plus one. So this way I'm incrementing after everything. I increment. So if I should run this code and this, you can see okay, instead of paste, let's use a print out so that we can have it print one after the other. So if we should run this now, let's run it all over again, setting the counter to be one, and you can see it's kind of going through and counting that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's the most basic form of the example for while loop. Um, Same thing, we can use it to loop through a given array or a given list. Let's say we have an array that hold foodstuffs and is an atomic of different foodstuffs. Let's have a rice, let's have beans, and just one more food. Let's say yam. So we have these foodstuff in our store or in our food basket, and we want to look through them to bring out the items. We either you loop through them using a while loop or using a for loop. Let's try this using a while loop, and we'll come back and use a for loop eventually. So remember, we are going to be looping through based on the index positioning of whatever thing we have in our food basket. So while our position in our food basket is less or equal to, then this is where it gets a little bit um, interesting. If our position is less or equal to the length of what? Of our food. If it is less or equal to the length of our food, what do we want to do? We actually just want to go ahead and say maybe print um, our food based on the position. I think this logic should work. Who knows? Or throw an error. Whatever it gives us, we are going to fix it. And we want to increment position plus position should be position um, plus one. So for every time you loop through this whole system, we have our food here. You can see them rice, beans, chart from 1 to 3. We have a position to be 1. That's the indexing. And if we should run this, yes, it works. So he went in and say, inside of this array, I have rice, beans, and yam. So that's what a while loop is. It always have this condition. And as long as the condition is true, it keeps executing. So we have some keywords in loops. Generally, it works for base, both while loop and for loop. They are break and next. So let me just quickly put it here and because of time. So if I go ahead and say if whatever food you found in that position is equal to um let's say beans. What do we want to do if our food is equal to beans? We want to, let's use the next keyword. We want to go to next, and then we want to go ahead and print position, print food. Let's run this while loop again. What do we have? Say no loop for break next, jumping to top level. Oh, okay. So I see what is going on here. Let me bring this into this part. So really, because of our time, because I want to talk about for loop in this video as well. So we have either the next or you are using uh the break. So look at these both guys, they are all keywords. The next we skip a particular iteration based on condition, while we have the break, we just come out of the loop no matter what it is. So it's just like if you find an item, maybe skip it, something like you want to sort. If you're building a sorting algorithm, you might be using the next. And if you just want to stop a loop, if a particular thing is seen, you can use the break. So let's quickly write the for loop that will do almost the same thing for us. We have our food. Let's see if we have our food in in our So this should give us our food item, which we have already um, in our environment. Let's have another. Electronics should be an atomic of collection of electronics. Let's say one, two, three electronics to use. Okay. Let's say we have a TV. You have a PS5, IPS4. I can see I'm using a period instead of a comma. Then we have an Xbox. These are the electronics that we have. We just want to sort through our electronics collection and print it out. So the for loops work for now. The for loop is an interesting kind of loop. It just goes in, picks out everything and returns them, unlike the while loop that checks for condition. So for device in electronics, what do we want to do for all device in electronics? Maybe you just want to um let me use the print instead of the paste device. So this should just go into our collection and print out all the things that we have inside there. So something is going on. Oh, okay. I think we have an endless loop that was running from here. Okay. So let's try it again. So you can see I have my electronics, and if I run this, it's returning TV, PS4, and Xbox. So you're either using the for loop or the while loop, but mostly for data analytics stuff, I think you use more of the for loop rather than the while loop. So same thing. You can do for device in electronics, you want to print device. You can add a condition if you found PS4, maybe you next or you break out of it and all of these things. So quick recap before we look at let's quickly talk about nested loops. Nested loops is just a loop inside another loop. So if you get the concept of what while and for loops are, mostly nested loops happen in the for loop section. So we are going to have a whole dedicated video for functions, so we don't have to rush the entire concept at once. So just know that we have two kind of loop, the for loop and the while loop. The for loop basically just iterates, returns items, while the while loop does that based on a particular condition. As long as the condition is true, the while loop keeps working. So the while loop is more of a kind of structured kind of loop compared to the for loop, but they are both loops in the world of programming. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.